good? It's Helian here. Today I'm going to show you how I made this dark melody that really reminds me of the original Lil Keed and Lil Gotit style. So I'm using bells from Omnisphere, and this is the pattern that I came up with. Really simple, as you can see. And so what I did, I rendered out the melody, pitched it up 200 cents, and in the mixer track I added this grooves beat effect that comes from, I think, Emar's Doppler bank, and a little EQ to cut out the lows, and now it sounds like this. As you can see, I pitched up the other part by an octave as well. Okay, so next up, using the same Omnisphere preset, I came up with this really simple lower octave pattern to complement the original melody. I rendered it out again, pitched it up, and added this simple automation clip to play with the volume. And in the end it sounded like this. Okay, so next up I decided to add an harp from Omnisphere, and unfortunately I managed to delete the original pattern, but to be honest it was just these two minor chords repeating themselves over and over. And after exporting it, I added it to mixer track, and I added this FX chain from Make Sure 49's Sound Source kit, which I highly recommend. I'm not going to dive too deep into this because, to be honest, I can't even really explain what all of these things do, but definitely try the kit for yourself, it's really fun. So the result sounded like this. After that I switched to another harp from Omnisphere, and still using the same pattern, I reversed the path and made a copy for every second bar that is pitched up one octave. And this is what that sounds like. The final counter melody I decided to add is again another bell from Omnisphere. I came up with this extremely simple pattern and added it to the second part of the 8 bars, and I also added a low pass filter automation to make it just a little more interesting. After that I was pretty much finished, and all I did was I added a sub bass. And a percussion loop. At that point I was pretty much done, but I decided to make a second part of the loop by changing the main melody, which I put into double time. And for the start of every 4 bars I also added this grooves beat, sort of like a tape start effect, and I thought it sounded really cool. And finally, for the master channel, I have the same preset that I use pretty much in all my loops, which I already talked about in my last video on the channel, so you should definitely go check that out. And yeah, this is what the final loop sounds like.